Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, y'all. Come on, give it up to the moms. Give it up to the moms. You are here because of the moms. Yes. And we are here to sing today. Y'all know y'all singing today, right? Okay. We're going to start with the Ricky Byers classic, Holy, Holy Way. It's by my brother Ray Davis here. Give him love. That's what's up. That's what's up.
For this first song,
oh, let me love in a holy,
you sing
holy
this.
way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
You sing, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall.
Let me learn from all the ways I fall.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing.
Let me share the good that's overflowing.
And let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy
Yes! Woo! Y'all sound good this morning. Great morning to all. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Do what? Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Is you ready? Get on up. Get on up.
I release
and I let go.
let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Let me hear y'all. Let me hear y'all.
I'm here.
Cause why? No, 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 no more struggles, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for.
Only here for.
Only here for. What are we here for? What are we here for? What are we here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? Yeah. God, and God is love. Woo.
Yes.
Ray Davis! Ray Davis!
As they like to say in the modern church movement, Spirit is in the house. Would you agree with that? Let's give it up for Arne Batson and the one and only Ray Davis. Good morning, everyone. I know we're loud today. We are just loud today. It's the way it's going to be, just vibrating the energy of the divine, letting it out. Hello, Tamra. Walk in. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, let's just all take a deep breath in and exhale. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and it's such a joy to share this moment with you. I will speak for Robert and Danny and Travis and Ray and Arne that about 8.3 minutes ago, it was silent in here. Maybe even 6 minutes ago, right? And we were having this really beautiful kind of intimate sharing experience and experience spirit in a certain way, and then all of a sudden, bam! It became combustible and transformative and fun and ignited and enlightened. That's the way life is, right? There's always something spinning around us, and sometimes we think it's going to drop a house on us, and sometimes it's going to come from within and just let beauty reveal itself through us. And so thank you for bringing your presence and your light with us today. Glad you're here. Let's say hello to those that are joining us online via YouTube Live, to our Dennis Goodine out there in the YouTube land, and to those that are joining us through Zoom. Happy Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day. We have a service today that's going to take us on a journey in regards to looking at motherhood, both from the perspective of being one, of having one, and oftentimes being called one. So, that just rolled off the tongue. It wasn't pre-planned. So, but I think we can all agree that we've come here today. Let's send that to Mike McMorrow out there in the land of Granada Hills. But I think we can all agree that we're here today with purpose. The purpose is to remember who we are as divine beings, to align ourselves with the infinite source of the divine, and love is one of its qualities. Love in our philosophy, faith, and way of life is known as the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself. And the only way and the blessed way that it gets to do that is through you and through me. We're each going to play a role in this service that we have today called our Sunday celebration service. And you're going to get a lot of information thrown at you. Some wonderful music is going to happen. And there's going to be inspiration and spontaneity unfolding. I invite you to be open to that, to let that be a reminder to you of this power that exists within each and every one of us. You're going to hear language today that may seem familiar and some that may seem unfamiliar. But it's all the divine doing its thing through me and through our beloved musicians and through you, creating this communion with the thing itself, letting us be reminded that we are here to both give and to receive. So how does that sound, you guys? Good. Well, let's do it. Let's open up with a ritual. Our ritual is called Calling in the Light. And we need this tool right here. And so Ray's going to play some piano music for us. And then I'm going to read some stuff to us, and then we're going to sing a song. How does that sound? So we perform this ritual called Calling in the Light to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, and we have a new one with us today. What's the sentient being's name, Robert? Miss Muffin. So we have a new sentient being, Miss Muffin, with us today. That all that we speak of come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. One of those qualities is joy. I know for each of us, the word mom or mother means something different. And I'm going to believe for each of us, no matter your journey with your mother, that on some level joy was indeed present. For my dear mother, Peggy, she loved the writings of Irma Bombeck. And each Mother's Day, I like to read this writing by Irma Bombeck. And I'm going to use that today as the template for us to light the light, so that when we light the candle in a moment, we do so honoring the light of all that have been mothers. It's titled, When God Created Mothers. When the good Lord was creating mothers, he went into his 6th day of overtime, when the angel appeared and said, "You're doing a lot of fiddling around on this one." And God said, "Have you read the specs on this order? She has to be completely washable but not plastic, have 180 movable parts, all replaceable, run on black coffee and leftovers, have a lap that disappears when she stands up, a kiss that can cure anything from a broken leg to a disappointed love affair, and 6 pairs of hands." The angel shook her head slowly and said, 6 pairs of hands? No way. It's not the hands that are causing the problems, God remarked. It's the 3 pairs of eyes that mothers have to have. That's on the standard model? Asked the angel. God nodded. 1 pair that sees through closed doors when she asks, "What are you kids doing in there?" when she already knows. Another here in the back of her head that sees what she shouldn't, but what she has to know. And of course, the ones here in front that can look at a child when he goofs up and says, "I understand and I love you," without so much as uttering a word. "God," said the angel, touching his sleeve gently, "get some rest tomorrow." "I can't," said God. "I'm so close to creating something so close to myself. Already I have one who heals herself when she's sick, can feed a family of 6 on 1 pound of hamburger, and can get a 9-year-old to stand under a shower. And the last page is missing. Oh no." And so let's just know that that last page says, eventually, there's something rolling down her cheek. And the angel said to God, "What is that?" And God said, I don't know. I didn't create it. As I light the candle, I invite us to bring into our mind's eye the individual or individuals that represent Mother to us. And let's begin to see the light in them. Several of you in this room are mothers to children, sentient beings, to all types of expressions of creation. As we sing the song, Calling in the Light, let's do that to those beings. Typically for one of our services, whether they be online or in person, we begin by honoring each other in the room, whether it's virtual or in person. We've yet to do that today, so I'd like for us to do that now, feeling the energy of the divine that already exists within us and that we've ignited by calling in the light and bringing that nurturing quality of the mother within each and every one of us, that which gave us birth. I'd like for us to give birth to a new way to say hello, not a new way, the same way to say hello to each other, but a new way in the sense that we let our guards down. I'd like to invite each of you to stand up, begin to move around the room for just a moment and say namaste to each other, honoring and acknowledging the divine within each other. And so for those of you online, know that we are indeed, which seems like quiet in the room, but we're namaste. Namaste, meaning the God in me honors and acknowledges the God in you. In its literal translation, it means I bow to thee. And so know in this moment, I bow to thee. And that act of bowing is not an act of supplication or surrender. It's an act of knowing who we are and the power that we've been imbued with. So how fun is it, right, to not only feel this energy of transformation that has taken place in the room today by you're all coming in and sharing it, and what's coming from our musicians, and from me, and of course by Miss Muffin over there, and Miss Tuffin and Puffin, and all of them in the room. Miss Puffin, she's outside, but now. across the street for sure at the Tuffin' and a Puffin' Cafe. But what this is evidence of for me is something that I have consciously and purposefully been tuning into in my own personal journey of finding self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening of late, and that is trusting the spontaneity and the spontaneous nature of spirit, of setting the intention in life and putting out there that which I desire and listening to that when friends of mine say that they have desires in their own life, like whether they want to get a dog and all circumstances and conditions around the world say no, and then they get a new dog 4 days ago or 3 days ago that's the perfect and right fit, right? It's all about listening to the divine speak to you. And one of my divine incarnations has walked away from the stage, and we need her in just a moment. So I'm going to magnetically bring her back because I want to share a story with you that she and the beloved Ray play a great role in. So until then, does anybody know a joke? So a priest and a rabbi and a musician go to the soundboard. No. The priest says, pray. The rabbi says, what the hell is she doing? And the musician comes back. And she's back.
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. Our beloved musicians, I have not interacted with them at all this week. For me, letting go of that kind of control, many of you would know, might be a stretch, right? So, but I trust them so deeply with who and what they are as beings. And we didn't even communicate till yesterday. And I said, hey, do we need to fill in the blank? And they're like, no, got it covered. To which they do have it covered, right? So, but in preparation for my message this morning, I was having a difficult way of feeling how I wanted it to begin. And as I often do, I will go into meditation or listen to music. And there was a song that kept coming up and coming up and coming up for me. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to hear it in just a moment. And as they were rehearsing this morning, I said to them, this is how I'm starting my message. I have no attachment to whether or not you can sing it, but it has a great resonance field in my being. Do you think you are open? To which Arne said, we don't know that song. Let's see if they know it. Ray and Arne.
Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the world thy hands have made.
I see the stars. I hear the rolling thunder. Thy power throughout the universe display.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art!
How great thou art.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art! How great
you have an extra one of those, Marino? So, obviously the talent is there, right? But what is so amazing to witness is the willingness to let go and let God. If that word has an issue for you in this context here, and I understand it, and a lot of the lyrics of that song are in a very traditional Christian terminology, I invite you to just look at that word as the source of life itself. It's the very thing that animates our heart. It's the very thing that gives us the capacity and the ability to tune in to joy and beauty and peace and power. It's the very thing that has created the universe that we have such opportunity to live in and participate in. For so many years in my life, the lyrics of how great thou art and looking to a Savior for salvation was very troubling to me, in the sense that I was a participant in a religion that told me that who and what I was as a being was unacceptable to the very creative force itself. As I've grown and evolved as a spiritual being, of one that has wisdom and intelligence and logic and the ability to contemplate and process information and understand that others' ideology and perception and diction, if you will, and direction do not have to have power within me, that I have the capacity to digest languaging and allow it to resonate with my soul in a way that propagates me knowing who I am as a divine being, and then sharing that back to life itself. I resonate with these words, O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. We all can process that because we see this universe displays and the magnificence and the wonder and the grandeur of life itself, and that which is so incredibly incomprehensible, while at the same time seemingly innate and natural and a part of who we are. It's in this acknowledgement of the divine that is written in this song that it goes on to say, when this happened, then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. Not some outside being that is hung on a cross in some story and that needed to die for me to find my divine nature. It's about that opening up and surrendering to the power and the presence of the very thing itself that already is there, right? Yes. And letting it make itself known to me, through me, and that's the case for all of us. And all we need to do to tune into the greatness that thou art is to be receptive to it. It's made itself known to us right here in this room at 1200 North La Brea Avenue in West Hollywood, California, across the street from a marijuana restaurant today. It shared with us its power. So when it says, when Christ shall come with shout of acclamation, it's what I just did in that moment, honoring the God that is within every one of us. And when we are open to that, the last lyrics then indeed takes it home, as they say. So then, through this awareness and acknowledgement and receptivity to that which is eternal and a blessing, then take me home, baby. And when you take me home, what joy shall fill my heart, and then I shall bow with humble adoration and proclaim, my God, how great thou art. So, thank you for letting your God do its thing through you so that we could experience that to propagate what we're experiencing in the moment. What I've really learned in my life, and I know it's true for so many of us, that requires surrender. It requires the act of surrender. It's critical in the evolutionary process of us, of our spiritual awakening, and of our ongoing both desire and experience and expression of our enlightenment. Last week I shared with you a writing, not really a poem, but a writing by the great Howard Thurman that is from a book called Meditations of the Heart. And I'm going to read it to us again today because I think it's a great foundation from where we're going this morning. And it's titled, I Surrender Myself to God. And I invite you to open yourself up to let the definition of what that word means to you make itself known to you. Let it come from your soul upwards and out as opposed to from your brain trying to negotiate it. Thurman writes, the central element in communion with God is the act of self-surrender. The symbol of my prayer this day is the open heart. It's most natural for me to think of prayer in terms of the open hand. My needs are so great and often so desperate that there seems to be naught besides my own urgency. I must open my heart to God. This will include my own deep urgencies and all the warp and woof of my desiring. These things deep within I must trust with the full awareness that more important even than self-realization is the true glorifying of God. Somehow I must make God central to me and in me, over and above the use to which I wish or need to put its energy and its power. Today, my invitation for each and every one of us is to make it a practice to glorify the power that gives us life itself. To open up to live not only just in a framework, but in a spiritual practice of honoring how great thou art. And when I say honoring with those hand movements, right, I'm not speaking of that which is external. I'm speaking of that which is. Yes. We feel it. We know it. Our definition and experience of it grows and changes over time, and that is exactly the way that it should be. But it's through the magnification of that and the surrendering to it and the engagement in faith and trust and willingness that we get to move into the next perfect and right experience of it as it creates through us reflections of that which it is. As it gives birth to the next expression of life that is a reflection of our consciousness. And if we desire for something to be different, we know in a very fundamental, foundational way in this teaching is to change our thinking, to change our life. But I think as we grow in this teaching, there's so much more to it than that. Yes, it's very fine-tuning is required and the nuances of how we think and believe, but it's also how we act and we react and believe and expand and set our intentions and have the willingness to experience it and to express it. It's our ability to love that which we seem as the unlovable. It's about allowing ourselves to be loved when we're unlovable. Yes. We were talking this morning about how when things stirs up the S, the H, the I, and the T in us, and we don't quite know what to do about it, with it, or as it. But through spiritual practice, and I know that's a 20th century, early 21st century metaphysical term, meaning practicing your awareness and who you know yourself to be as a spiritual being, the incongruencies of how we act become less and less and less and less. Ray was saying this morning that he has a spiritual practice that he had to engage in this morning when an incongruency of knowing who his divine being is showed up. And I shared how one showed up in my world yesterday afternoon as I had it rolling off my tongue, something I was saying to someone I love very much. At the same time, I was thinking, stop talking, fool. But I didn't. And I didn't walk away. And it doesn't matter whether I said one word or 50 words. It's the power of what was said. And within 10 minutes after I got home, got on the phone and that was resolved. Now, many of us, including myself, for years would hang on to that. We wouldn't be willing to plant the seed and give permission for the divine principle to take it and do something different through us. Today we celebrate Mother's Day, and I want to share with you an article that was written. I always question whether that's the right term, and even more so I question that when the one and only Reverend Dr. Maureen Hoyt is present, the wordsmith of all of life. I have a feeling she's got a little notebook. She's like, well, you said that wasn't an article. It wasn't. No, it's not true. She's a very dear friend of mine, and she wouldn't do that. But that is what goes through the back of my brain on this part, to be quite honest with you. So this article is titled The Metaphysics of Mother's Day, written by Dennis Merritt Jones. Begins with a Jewish proverb. God couldn't be everywhere, so he created mothers. While we know that in truth the infinite one is indeed everywhere because it is omnipresence, I've always appreciated the folk wisdom and metaphor as quoted above because it depicts the ineffable character of the divine feminine, which is omnipresent, nurturing and sustaining all living things while excluding none. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Teachings of the Science of Mind, if his name is new to any of you here in the room or online, refers to the feminine principle as the universal womb of nature. Because as omnipresent principle operating through all living things, it knows how to unconditionally nurture and grow to fruition whatever falls into its embrace. Mm-hmm. For this reason, I believe another term for the divine feminine could be unconditional love. In other words, infinite presence as the divine feminine is unconditional love. Most of all of us have heard and agree with the statement that unconditional love is the most powerful force in the universe because it aligns us directly with the highest vibration of the infinite. Then it would seem logical to say that women are inherently more powerful than men. Why? You notice they didn't say why. They answered the question. Well, here's why Dr. Jones says it, not just Wendy and crew, even though I support Wendy and crew, right? He writes, because as a rule of thumb, women are far more likely to be in touch with their divine feminine, as evidenced by those that rebutted it when it was stated, right? Right? Because as a rule of thumb, women are far more likely to be in touch with their divine feminine, which is where unconditional love exists as a universal principle, than are men. Note, I did not say women were stronger, more intelligent, or important. This is Dr. Jones, not me. He said, I said women are simply more powerful. Why? I believe it's because women have a much easier time accessing their feeling nature, which is where authentic, unconditional love resides. While this may well fly in the face of many of my brothers out there, including at 1200 North La Brea Avenue, it is nonetheless true. It's nonetheless true. Now, while this may stir up things within you, if your gender is that of male, I shared it with us for that perspective. For it to stir up within each and every one of us to open ourselves up to the willingness, to the open-mindedness, to the capacity to have a new perspective, a new thought, if you will, in regards to how we not only access but use the divine principle within us. Our theme for the month of May is Today is the Day. I invite us today to open our minds to the divine feminine in a new way, to remember that we all indeed do have access to it. The good news is the divine feminine, being an omnipresent principle, means that we men have equal access to it. But the problem is we've not been as willing to go there because it's generally buried deeper in us and may require some revealing and balancing of our internal energy system, and that can be flat out uncomfortable for many men. But I think that most men believe that to access the divine feminine within means becoming more vulnerable. And I think it could be. But no matter the discomfort that may come with accessing that, it's only in the light of vulnerability that authentic love can fully reveal itself. As I shared with you earlier, that's what transpired for me this morning by being willing to set my desire for hearing the song that they don't know, right? It was the same by trusting that the perfect and right people would walk through these doors this morning for us to have this experience together. It's by trusting yesterday afternoon that when I let my masculine brain say things it shouldn't have, but then allow my soulful, divine, unconditional love, feminine essence to rise up and right that wrong, that healing indeed takes place. That's really what we all walk this planet day by day, moment by moment, thought by thought, reaction by reaction, interaction by interaction, with the intention to do, whether we're aware of it or not, which is to heal. Dr. Holmes says that healing is the act of revealing the oneness, the wholeness of life itself. And it's through that process, through that journey, through that awakening where the love of the divine makes itself known. The feminine principle, as Dr. Holmes defines it, is the universal soul. In the human, it's the subjective, it's the subconscious intelligence, it's the universal medium that has also been called the womb of nature, the Holy Mother, if you will, because it's receptive to spirit and is impregnated with divine ideas. It is that which gives birth to the ideas of the spirit and is therefore the feminine principle of nature. Today I invite you to ask yourself, not just from the perspective of what do I want today, as far as do I want eggs Benedict or scrambled eggs, or do I want to live in the warmth of Southern California or the cold of somewhere else, or not just do I want to cuddle with my dog today, or do I want fill in the blank, but what is it that we desire to experience as transformative beings on this planet? And the only way that we get to tune in to experience that is by opening up to allowing the peace and the power and the beauty and the joy and the light and the life and the love and the wisdom of G-O-D, God, to rise up and make itself known. To be willing to live with trust and faith and intention, and by aligning ourselves with its power and its qualities. It's by accepting the nature of nature, and it's by using our own consciousness to influence how it shows up in our life. It's about awakening to the divine feminine. Let me say that again, because my mouth did something funny. It's awakening to the divine feminine. Deepak Chopra says to us to know this. And it's something that's very imperative in today's world, because we talk a lot today about gender, and we should, by the way. He goes, beyond constructs of gender, everyone's source is pure awareness. When pure awareness manifests into creation, gender isn't in evidence, nor are many of the labels we take on in our physical manifestation. When you wake up from deep sleep and become aware of your existence, the experience has no labels. The division between masculine and feminine enters into a social context, defined by the beliefs, attitudes, and mental conditioning of yourself and the world around you. To be confined in a solely binary experience of gender is a creation of many factors going far beyond the physiological. The divine feminine isn't to be confused with gender or restricted to women, because in reality, The divine feminine is part of everyone's wholeness. When we divide all human experiences into the narrow categories of women and men, and I'm going to say this part again, when we divide all human experiences into the narrow categories of women and men, we lose the opportunity to access wholeness. Do you guys get that? So when we then begin to divide all human experiences into the narrow categories of gay or straight or transgender or black or white or Asian or whatever other BS we have humans have created to limit our experience, we lose and begin to diminish the opportunity to access our wholeness. In order to truly love all people, and for them to love themselves, we must nurture the universal values that belong to the divine feminine. Every human quality that we cherish has a pure source, and the closer you are to the source, the more intense, personal, and lasting your values will be. He goes on to write, what does the divine feminine add to everyone's life? In one way or another, we all express qualities of the divine feminine. Wherever there is nurturing, devotional, compassionate, loving, intuitive, or reflective energy, the divine feminine is present. Today, what if we were to just choose one of those and engage in them to the best of our ability in every scenario and situation? Nurturing, devotional, compassionate, loving, intuitive, or reflective. Imagine what could transpire in our individual worlds, and I use that terminology because we all know what that means, our individual worlds. If we were to go through life not seeing people by any human descriptives whatsoever, but to just see light, to just engage in light, the light of the divine, and then decide in this moment I'm going to be nurturing or devotional or compassionate or loving or intuitive or reflective of our divine nature. Personally, I like compassionate because to me the word compassion means to live with passion. And if you break down the word passion, it means to pass the divine on. Hallelujah. So when we are choosing to be compassionate, it means that we are engaged in living with a place of intentionally and purposefully and consciously passing on the I, and we do that by seeing the beings of the divine as light.
Come on, yes.
Period.
Yes.
Or light, exclamation point. Today we have the opportunity before us to see the wholeness and the oneness of life in a new way. You and I get to remember that as we set the intention to let go of the narrow constructs of our human perceptions and descriptions of life, that when we set this intention, already inherent within it is the mechanics for its fulfillment. That our role is to surrender and to let the divine principle within us receive and do its part to bring through us this experience of the divine itself, more and more and more and more. So on this Mother's Day, let's choose to give a gift to the aspect of motherhood by choosing to give birth to a new idea. A new idea for us, a new idea through us, and a new idea as us. And I truly believe we don't have to wait 9 months to see the outer expression. Because the principle of creativity, as we've learned from old school metaphysicians, is not bound by precedent. That we can experience the divine in all of its magnificence and its wonder and its glory in the twinkling of an eye. But we must be willing. We must be willing to magnify it and to know with every fiber of our being, oh my God, how great thou art. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Reverend Keith. To all the mothers. Mom, she gives me words of love. She gives me peace and love. She gives me thoughts and love. Mom, she gives me so much joy. I love her more and more. My love comes through my voice. Well, 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 well.
And in my life, I'll always love her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my life, I'll always care, always care. And in my life, I'll always need her, yeah, yeah. The mom I know I love so well.
Mom, her face is still the same. She never seems to change. Her love still remains. Mom, the love she gives I long. She taught me right from wrong. She shared that hope was strong. Mama, mama,
And in my life, I'll always love her. Oh, yeah, yeah. And in my life, I'll always care. And in my life, I'll always need her. The mom I know and love so well. You give me love, oh yes you do, Mom. Mama, 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 yeah, 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 Mom. Ooh, I love you, Mama. I love you, Mama.
I'll always love my mama, 'cause she's my favorite girl. Yeah.
Mom.
I'll always love my mama. She brought me in this world.
Mom.
Oh, she's one of a kind. You've got yours and I've got mine.
Mom.
Hey, mama, oh, mama, my heart belongs to you.
Mom.
Such an incredibly special song, but made even more special, sung by the two of you. So thank you. So beautiful. Arne Batson, Ray Davis. You each are so special as you stand alone, but there's something really you guys know this, but there's something magical when the two of you are together. And I thank you for letting Spirit do its thing through you in that way. So.
Let me just reveal.
Come to the microphone.
I just would recall, I was introduced into this congregation
Yes, you.
by Ray Davis.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago,
he
yes.
brought me here, and that's how.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I couldn't help it. I mean, come on.
So their relationship is real. It is real. It is real. So now is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to support our community financially. And want you to know that every amount that you contribute or give or donate, whatever term you want to use for that, is honored and acknowledged as being part of the flow of the universe. The methods to do that is Robert's going to walk by with a bag, a beautiful tapestry bag, if you'd like to put something in there using your hands. And the other way to do that is through our website. You can go to our website, CSL-LA.org, click on donate. That'll take you through that, or you can use our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Or if you're online, or either if you'd like to mail in a check, our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California. Or if you're on Zoom or YouTube, I believe it's showing, or it may not. You can access my phone number, and I can handle it for you directly. And so let's all know together that as there's movement in the room of good being exchanged, that is a reminder to us that good is always in the flow. There's more in the front, guys. In the front here, so thank you. And so say with me together, today is the day I live an abundant life. I give freely, consciously, purposefully, and intentionally. As I do this, I tap into the divine feminine, knowing that it immediately goes to work, giving birth through me a greater experience that is reflective of my divine nature, which is abundant, because I'm one with the universe. And so it is. Thank you. Spontaneity is the key. So please visit our website, CSL-LA.org, for anything that's transpiring in our world. A couple of quick things. We'll be back in person on June 11th here. And then in the interim, every Sunday we're online through Zoom and YouTube Live, as well as we have a midweek morning meditation, Wednesday mornings at 8:30. You can access that where we come together and I guide us through meditation. That's accessed through Zoom, and you can find that information on our website. and or through our weekly e-newsletter that goes out the first part of the week. All of that information can be accessed through the technological formats and forums that we have, as well as our past meditations, I believe, are on Facebook, and our past services are on YouTube, all accessed through the social platform of our website. We also are on Facebook and YouTube. Each morning at 7:30 a.m., there is a new thought for the day that goes out, which is just a fantastic tool for us to remember how to start our day. And I have a lot of fun in researching those and finding them and putting them together for many years. Dr. Maureen would edit them for us because we can only have a maximum 320 characters with spaces in it, or the technology kicks it back out. So no, that's the case. Outside we have coffee and water and sugary flour snacks for you to consume and participate in should you desire to do that. It's so fabulous to share this time with you today in this room. I invite you to invite others as time unfolds in this community. And just imagine giving the gift of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening and the awareness of the divine to those that we love in life, and have no attachment to what that may look like. I'm going to close us out in meditation and prayer, a little bit of well, I don't know what it's going to be. You'll see. We'll feel it when it happens, right? I don't know why I'm trying to give words to it. And then our beloveds are going to carry us out with one more song. Let's give a huge thank you to Ray and Arne for being here today. A big thank you to Travis Smith in the back for our audio. And to his trainee, Danny, who's learning on the job. Robert Hensley in the back corner, who is always keeping us in line social media-wise, administrative assistant-wise. And a big thank you to all of you that are here today, either online or at a later date or here in person. Several of our members weren't able to be here with us today because they were either out celebrating Mother's Day or are not feeling well. And so let's know that the energy that we've experienced today, which has been fabulous, right, is emitting itself and traveling out to those as a healing quality of love. So I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you right now. Ray will give us a little music. Let's all agree that today is the day that we've said yes to this new idea manifesting itself through us. And today is the day that we align ourselves with the one and only power of the universe. Call it whatever you want. But we've said yes to the spiritual practice of magnifying it. Not out of hope or want or a need for it to approve of us or believe that it could disapprove of us or for it to give us more than we think it should, but for the purpose of understanding that it responds to us by corresponding to our state of being. So we bring that down and distill it to the question, how can I be more of it today? And the answer is by honoring the light in all beings, by letting our light shine. And so as I extinguish the flame on the candle, as it dissipates, it ignites within you, illuminating your soul and the pathway of what's before each of us, which is the opportunity to live more compassionately, to live more graciously, and to shine our light. feel it. It's beginning to shine brighter and brighter and brighter in you. And in you and in you and in you and you and you and you and you and in me. But the truth is, there's only one light. And so we let it shine as we go forward, letting it be, saying thank you to all mothers on this planet. And so it is. Renee and Ray are going to take us out with one more song. Thank you again for being here today. Thank you.
From the great Doris Akers, Sweet, Sweet Spirit.
There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place, and I know that it's the Spirit of the Lord. There are sweet expressions on each face, and I know they feel the presence of the Lord. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. And for these blessings, we lift our hearts in praise. Without a doubt, we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Ray Davis. Ray Davis, y'all. Come on now. Thank you so much. Reverend Keith.